So Super Rugby round 9, the Dream Team. It was a bit of a hard and easy job, if that makes sense, because some positions there were guys who were just outstanding, and then others it was kind of a bit more of a mission to search for who I thought should be in the squad. Props, I'll start with them, were one of the ones that I found a bit trickier. I've gone with Craig Miller for one of them. For the props, it was hard to find a guy who had a really great all-round game. Like Craig Miller had 11 from 11 tackles, which is very good for a prop. 5 runs at 13 metres is probably above average for a prop, like metres per run. But the Sunwolf scrum wasn't that great, so I perhaps shouldn't be picking Miller. I don't know if it was his fault, but yeah, the Sunwolf scrum was under a bit of pressure this game. Another prop, I've gone for Trevor Nyakane from the Bulls. So yeah, he made 9 from 10 tackles, which is pretty good. He secured a turnover, 2 passes, 1 run. So yeah, they both had their own facets of the game which were good. The Bulls scrum was obviously a fair bit stronger than what the Sunwolves were putting on offer. So if I went with Trevor Nyakane's logic, I probably shouldn't have picked Miller, because I think he once said in an interview, if you're a prop and you can't scrum, then you're just a fat bloke, which I thought was a pretty great line. But yeah, like I said, I don't think it was Miller that was the problem with the scrum. So yeah, there are a decent couple of choices, but I would definitely take any feedback on who you guys thought had better games than these two. For hooker, it's not his first time on here. I've gone for Damien Fitzpatrick from the Waratahs. I feel like he's probably the most likely one to get the nod in the Wallabies jersey come June, but you never know, because there's been a fair bit of movement in that space for the Wallabies, so it's kind of a bit of a blank at the moment. So Fitzpatrick, 18 out of 20 tackles, which is massive. 7 successful lineouts, 7 runs, 29 metres. Just doing the business, and yeah, doing it well. Like I think I've described him before as not a Malcolm Marx, but he's still a very good hooker. In the locks, I've gone for pretty good lock here in Ludiaga. So another key man in this Bulls performance, and a key man in the Bulls season, really. He's one of their best players. He's one of the best locks in the world, and he keeps putting up good performances. So 5 runs, 20 metres is fine. 17 out of 18 tackles is pretty handy. 4 lineouts and 1 lineout steal is good. And he did give away 3 penalties, but I've kind of forgiven him for all the other work that he's done. So yeah, good effort from him. They've got one of the best locking duos in Super Rugby. To partner him, I've gone with Guido Petty from the Jaguares. So he had 4 runs at 3 metres, which is not as impressive, but did make a tackle bust in those 3 metres, which is interesting. 17 from 17 tackles. The Jaguares have had issues throughout this season and other seasons with missing tackles. 17 from 17, you cannot complain about that. That's pretty magnificent. 8 lineouts and 2 lineout steals, so very impressive performance from Petty this week. Loose forwards, I've kind of gone for a couple of, well, one ball in hand guy, one defensive guy, and one kind of mix. So the ball in hand guy is Akira Ioane. He continues to prove that he's really putting his hand up for an All Black spot this year. But always, well, not always, but for the most part, he's impressive when he's got the ball. He's not kind of a Matt Todd tackling and turnover machine. It's not what he's kind of designed for. He is, I mean, he makes his tackles fine, but he, with ball, has just looked devastating this season. So 16 runs, 61 metres, beat 8 defenders. Tackles was only 3 from 5, so that's not great. But I mean, they did have a lot of the ball, so he wasn't going to be needed to make that many tackles. But also 3 out of 5 is not great. One of the guys he played against in this game was Lapis Labaskakni. He was not that great with the ball. 2 runs for 1 metre, pretty average, but 27 out of 30 tackles. I don't know what this guy has for breakfast, but yeah, he must tackle it pretty well, because he is just always up there with the tackles. He got a turnover on the ground as well. So Yeah, I always like Lapis, and he's putting in the performances for the Sunwolves, which is pretty cool. And from the Waratahs, I've gone for Michael Wells. So he had 1 try assist, 3 passes, 4 runs, so kind of mixed things up. 50 meters on his runs, a line break, and 12 out of 12 tackles. So he's kind of the magic balance between these two guys. He was good in all facets of the game. Didn't tackle as much, didn't bust as many as the other guys, but all round very solid game. He's looking good this season. Next, and Scrum-half was a really hard one to choose because there were a few good guys, but I've gone with Will Guinea. Now, he didn't play that long. He only played 50-odd minutes, but he had 2 try assists, 42 passes, 2 runs, 47 meters, 2 out of 3 tackles, but as a Scrum-half, it's not a huge one. The main reason I've gone with him over some of the other guys is just because the effect on his team when he's not playing seems to be more pronounced than any other that I've seen in terms of a Scrum-half. When he's not playing, the Rebels just don't look as good. So, yeah, he's a very important player for them. And, yeah, him going off injured and he's now not on the tour with the Rebels is pretty concerning if you're a Rebels fan. Next, and it was also a very hard one to choose, I've gone with Andre Pollard from the Bulls. So 1 try assist, 3 from 3 conversions, 9 passes, 8 runs. So again, a good mix of running it and passing it, which is what you want from your number 10 to keep the defense kind of guessing as to what you're going to do. 63 meters, 3 out of 4 tackles. Just really ran that show. He was, yeah, just pretty much in control that whole game, and the Sharks just didn't have an answer for it. So, yeah, very good game from him. Very encouraging if you're a Springboks fan. Looking forward to June against the English. Next, then I've kind of gone for another mix of playmaker and the guy who makes the actual play. So these two would do well together if they were on the same team. I've gone with Kurtley Beale from the Waratahs. So 29 passes, which was more than Foley, who's the guy inside him. 13 runs, 104 meters, 7 out of 9 tackles, which is good for him because he gets criticized for his defense as well, and 3 line breaks. So, yeah, Beale's having a really good season. He is that distributive kind of playmaker that the Tars kind of utilize well with Foley. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to see what he can do in green and gold. Another man, I reckon, if this guy was standing with Beale, I'm sure he could play 13 outside Beale. Nani Lamapi, so 1 try assist, 8 runs, 6 passes, 33 meters, beat 3 defenders, and 7 out of 10 tackles. His defense sometimes lets him down a bit, but not this week. Yeah, he just seems to be the man when you need points. He is the man you go to, and yeah, that's what the All Blacks will look for in selection going forward as well, because there's a few times when the All Blacks go behind after 60 and then they just need someone to make the difference. He seems to be one of those difference-making players. So he's having another good season this year. In the back three, some outside backs, he scored a hat-trick, so there was never any doubt that Warwick Gallant was going to get into this team. 3 tries, 11 runs, 32 metres, 3 out of 3 tackles. His defence has also been criticised in the past. But yeah, he is really the master of those little chip-through kicks, grubber kicks at the moment. So, yeah, I like seeing him do well. And I'm interested to see what Rassie is going to do with him come June as well. Next, another guy who seems to just be having a really impressive season. Like, he's come back from sabbatical just firing, is Ben Smith. So, he got a conversion, 2 tries, 11 runs, 131 meters, 3 out of 3 tackles, 2 line breaks, 4 defenders beaten, and 2 offloads. The list is long. I wrote 3 tries, but no, he only scored 2 tries. I was thinking of Gallant, obviously. But yeah, he kicked the conversion when Sopawanga was off with the yellow card. And just, again, like I described Lamapi, a difference maker. Ben Smith is a difference maker. So he definitely does wonderful things for the Highlanders, and Yeah, I hope he gets a starting run at 15 for the All Blacks, because I know with his versatility he gets moved around a bit, but at fullback he is just such a dangerous guy. Reliable as well. And speaking of dangerous, Tangele Naravoro from the Waratahs. So 2 tries, 16 runs, 185 metres. The guy is chalking up some metres this year. It's ridiculous. 7 defenders beaten and 5 offloads. I think his tackles were 50-50 this week, which was better than last time. So yeah, he's having a really good season as well. If the Tars are going to be a threat, they're going to need someone like that who can just run over people and keep defenders guessing, draw 2 men so he can offload, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's the team. As I said, there were some guys who were kind of like obvious candidates, and other guys who were difficult to kind of narrow down. But yeah, that's it. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and yeah, I'll talk to you again for another one soon. See you later.